I should probably, yeah. I should probably leave it here. This is fine.
That's fine.
All right. So, hello everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Attack of the Blurred. Of course, I have a special guest today. Someone I've been wanting to speak to for quite some time about several things. But the topic today is Black Panther, and I'll let my guest introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Wekesa Madzimoyo, otherwise known as Baba Wekesa. I live in the Atlanta metro area, and I'm co-director of Aya, that's AYA Educational Institute. And I'm so glad to be on. Thank you so much for having me and allowing your guests to hear a few words I have to say.
Definitely. So, how do you want to do this? You want to just jump straight into it, or?
It's up to you, brother.
Okay, so I'll tell you. Yeah. I'll start and just talk about overall what I thought of the film, and then you can just jump in and we'll just hash it out.
There you go.
So I have read the comic books, but not. I read the Ta-Nehisi Coates run, which is the one right now, and then I read the Christopher Priest run.
What about the Hudgens?
I haven't read those. Yeah, so I was thought I should have read those, but I didn't go that far.
Right.
So I was pretty excited to see the film because when I saw the Ta-Nehisi Coates run, because when I saw the Priest run, I liked the Priest run. A lot of people really loved that one. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was that great because there was a few things in there perhaps I would have done differently. Okay. But one of the things that stuck out to me is that the character didn't necessarily feel that African, except for the fact that he spoke Hausa to the Dora Milaje.
Right.
But I didn't, there wasn't African lore or really that much culture in there.
Right.
And then, but when I read Ta-Nehisi Coates' run, almost every page I have to stop and be like, how did he know this?
Right.
So there's one scene, one part where he talks about Sogolon, Sogolon being the mother of it. And I'm like, how does he know this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it blew my mind.
Right.
It blew my mind. So I felt like that character was much more African and just connected much more to me growing up as an African kid.
Absolutely.
So when I came into this film, I was really hoping that was the route they were going to go with.
Right.
And I was very pleased to see that is the way they went. A few things I noticed, I knew were probably going to be that way. For example, I knew everybody would not have the same African accent.
Sure.
I knew that. That would have been really hard to pull off.
And plus it would have gone against some of the goal to affirm Pan-Africa, to affirm Africa and me.
Right.
Just as the costumes, the dress
Indeed.
was not from one particular nationality, ethnic group, people.
Right.
So that Africa becomes affirmed. Okay.
And I love that.
So it would have defeated that for everybody to be speaking with the same accent.
Yeah. And I loved it. I loved the fact that when he at the scene of the ritual, challenge day, so he can actually take the mantle of king. First of all, I just love that part because that is very traditionally African, and I love that.
Okay.
And the fighting style. Traditionally it would have been wrestling, but I mean it depends on where you're from in Africa.
Sure,
perhaps
absolutely.
It would have been differently. But I loved it, just the visual because it very much looked African.
Of course.
And then they had the different tribes there.
Yes, representing at least 5 of those there. Yeah.
It was brilliant. I love that part.
It was absolutely brilliant.
Because like you said, it represented. They took from different parts of Africa.
Right, so we're affirmed in the way, and doing this actually is what the diasporan Africans are often better at because of oppression. Because on the captive ship,
right,
there was no differentiation, between Igbo and Yoruba.
Yeah.
Between the Fulani, whatever. If you're on the captive ship,
you're all
so that part of what we the notion of being African, the way I think of it as an African born in America, is not, well, my name is Wekesa Olatunji Madzimoyo.
Yes.
Okay? That's my legal name.
Yeah.
I wasn't born with that name.
Yeah,
I chose that name. Okay?
Right,
and made it my legal name.
Yeah.
Wekesa is from Kenya, from the Abulua people. Okay? Olatunji, of course, is West African and Yoruba. Okay? Madzimoyo is South and Central. Okay? I wrap my arms around East, West, South, and Central Africa. Okay? Thought about North, but at the time I was a youngster in college, and I didn't. My research only came back with Arabic names. I didn't want an Arabic name. Okay. At the same time, I didn't want a name from one African country. Right. I wanted to wrap my arms around
all of it as Africa, much as you could.
As I could. Yeah. The point is that quest and that looking at is often comes most easily from African in the diaspora. Yes. Because we had to do that, had to adopt that to survive.
That is very true. Okay. Yeah.
And so the notion of it's going to be, and also it means that if I'm doing that, if I'm Luo and I'm elevating some other culture, you know, not that. I'm thinking Kenya. What's the Maasai? Okay,
the Maasai. Yeah.
Then there's a part of me that has to push against whether or not I'm putting too much Maasai. I'm not elevating my own culture enough. You see what I'm saying? Right. Well, for Africans in the diaspora, we don't have to deal with issue. That issue ain't there at the personal level. Like, wait a minute, my mama might not be liking that I'm pulling up the Maasai in this part. Why don't I have a Mandingo? If I'm Mandingo, you see what I'm saying?
I totally get it.
So one of the benefits of it being done by Kugler and storytelling that way is that it could be Pan-African is pulling from a lot of different without the pains of I'm not being true, you know, to my particular
one culture or another.
All right. Yeah. In fact, it would be celebrated that it's Pan-African. Yes. Which then I think when it translates and being seen on the continent, folks are affirmed. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. From different ethnic groups. Okay. Without them having be the ones that were doing it. Okay. Yeah. So that's I think about it.
Yeah, and what you're saying here is very true because growing up in Africa, I went to school and my different friends were from different ethnic groups, right? So some people will be Jula, some people will be Bete, etc., etc. But rarely did I meet, for example, I never met anyone from South Africa, never met anyone from East Africa, never, while I was in Ivory Coast, in Abidjan. But the moment I came to the U.S. and I was a foreign student, a foreign kid, the more I went through school, the more I met people from Kenya, people from South Africa, people from Brazil, from all these places that were black like me. And so I agree with you that the Pan-Africanism, in a way, it's like a boomerang. It's like the folks that left are the folks that are coming back, and perhaps they will be the catalyst to a true unification or a true mentality.
Another kind.
A mentality
I wouldn't say a true.
Well, I wouldn't say true unification, but I would say will be the catalyst to the mentality being a little different.
A Pan-Africanist vision.
That's it.
And it wasn't what I'm like Kinnikur. When I went to Kenya, I did a 4-nation photography research tour. Kenya, Tanzania, Zimbabwe. And I was in one of the countries, Kenya. And I was going, and I was telling people about where I was going, and they said, well, are you going to come back and show the pictures, you know, here? And I said, yeah. But then they said, you see, because we're here in Kenya, many of us never get to Zimbabwe. So we don't know Zimbabwe like that. You are going. Right. Because I'm thinking, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back here. And because I would say, people say, why you come? I said, well, I come to learn about my people here. So I can tell my people back home about my people here. And they're like, cool. Right. And we don't know about South Africa. We don't know about Zimbabwe. We want to, like, oh, okay. And it makes sense. Of course. I mean, you know, Africa's not a country. It's a continent. Okay.
It's huge.
So it's huge. So it's like, I got it. All right. And I promised I would come back. And actually, I just reversed my trip. So I went after I went to the last place, I went back and I would share what I learned,
what you learned
all the way
with
back.
people.
Okay, with people. So it's something that for us to also learn. But Nyerere and Kinekaunda had a Pan-Africanist vision, okay, and we're working on a currency, okay. It was so there were this Pan-Africanist vision is old, and one of the things that it's easier to do because there is not the pang of I'm violating one versus the other.
But,
okay?
yeah.
At the same time, there's a depth that we don't have. Okay.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? That is, I don't know what it is to grow up Xhosa, okay, in the depth of that. So there are pieces that, and I wanted this Pan-African vision as a necessity, as a healing part for myself as an African, which is good.
Right.
And when we combine the depth of folks who have been raised in the culture with a vision of connecting it, then it's really, really powerful.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why I said I wouldn't say true kind of, and indicates some sense of this is the right one, this is not one.
Right.
It's just it brings an element that I think when combined with the depth, because there's being raised in an African culture that's more authentic, less contaminated with Eurocentric, views and oppression and everything else. Yeah. There's gold there that I can dream about, and I have some residuals of from here. That is because those did cross the water. Yeah. I'm not one of those people of the opinion that going through the Middle Passage stripped us of all our culture. No.
And the more I've spent time with African Americans, the more I realized that a lot of the culture stayed over.
Absolutely.
A lot of the culture stayed over. And I haven't taken the time to sit down and actually write down, like, these are the things that I see are extremely similar, but I've seen so much of it that I truly like the fact that at one point, a lot of the Africans I was around, whenever they would speak about African Americans, they would refer to them as cousins. They would just be like, yo, cousins, they love to do this, man. Do you know that? And it would be kind of like the nickname for African Americans. Right. Whenever we were talking about each other. Yeah. So I love this film because of that specifically. Okay. Because of, like you said, the vision of Pan-Africanism that is in there. Absolutely. And really,
it's lifted up. It's lifted up in a very powerful way. Okay. In a way that we deserve. In a way that we've wanted, in a way that in many ways we've struggled for. Okay.
Yeah,
so it's affirming.
Yeah, and what I was telling people, what I've told a few of my friends when we had this conversation is that the movement itself, in a meta way, is kind of like the map to Wakanda being our nirvana or whatever, our vision of utopia, whatever it is for black folks to feel just completely black and without any sort of oppression or anything about our culture. So the map to get there is this collaboration between Africans that were removed and Africans that stayed.
Oh, I agree with you.
And go ahead.
But that's also one of the things the movie holds up and holds out, and then it also compromises.
Okay. We
can get to that.
Okay, well, let's get to it now.
Okay, because to me, what's very African is what's called a both-and approach. And a both-and approach is being able to hold opposing things. Yes. Okay. I hold that it was a really, really great movie for all the reasons we've been talking about. Yes. And more. Yes. One, the acting was beautiful. Beautiful dark-skinned black sisters, powerful
everywhere.
African, just so many wonderful things about it.
Yeah.
And there is no but. Okay. And on the very thing that you talk about, in terms of collaboration, it's set up or a African versus African American dichotomy.
Yes, it did.
In it. Okay. And so there are two overall powerful messages. Yes. One is, here's what Africa would have been and could be, and that's Wakanda. Powerful, intelligent, beautiful, smart. Okay. And the other message is, if you think about challenging your oppressor, you're either a criminal or you're crazy. If you persist with that criminality and craziness, the CIA will shoot you down, and or your own people will kill you.
Right. So you're talking about the final battle between.
Nope. I referred to several.
Yeah, well, several, but
I can take you right through it.
Okay, all right. Let's get to it.
All right. So here's the deal.
Right.
There is something that we teach in terms of how our storytelling, both the stories that we receive and the stories that we tell as Africans, both here and abroad, because we've been colonized and oppressed.
Right.
There's oppression has been updated. Okay?
Right.
Old-fashioned oppression is exclusion. I mean, in addition to brutality. But like, you can't come to this school. You can't get into this job. You can't whatever.
That's passé.
So much.
There's a new version.
It's still there, but it's updated as well. So they both exist. But we came to measure how well we were doing against oppression by how much we were included. Okay?
Right.
So if we can include it, he's the first, he can go there, then oppression is going down and we're moving forward.
Right.
So there's been an update.
There's been the measure of our...
And in the sense of, no, come on in. You're no longer excluded.
Right.
Okay? That is, after a level of indoctrination, education, miseducation, socialization, then it's like, you can be the head of your country.
Correct.
As long as you do our bidding.
Our bidding. Okay.
You can be the star of this movie.
Okay.
Okay? So you would have been excluded from the role.
Right.
Now you get the role.
Right.
And the money. As long as you do what's advantageous for us at your people's expense.
So, which character are we relating this one to?
Okay, so that's the modern version of oppression, because of course it's like we were affirmed and we ought to be affirmed and we deserve it, and we're powerful. The crew did a fantastic job, and all the actors. And I don't think he or they were aware of the update. Okay. And the update, one of the ways it comes of doing our own bidding is scripting the stories that we tell. So one script that we work to counter is called morality in service of oppression.
Okay.
So here's how that works. That is, whenever a character is going to be considered immoral or portrayed immoral, and moral just means right and wrong, okay? If that the character challenges the oppressor.
Okay.
The more virulent the challenge, the more evil the person has to be.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
The more mild the challenge.
Right.
Okay. More accommodating.
Yeah.
The more moral.
Okay.
So the accommodating one. Okay. Or the one portrayed as accommodating.
Right.
Is moral.
Right.
The person who challenges oppression is immoral.
Right.
Hence.
So.
Wait, I'm gonna get to the character.
Go ahead.
So. In African American lore,
yes.
If you would ask people who is more moral, we'll give you two ministers.
Sure.
Minister Malcolm or Minister Martin.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
What do you think people would say?
You will definitely be told Martin.
Martin is more moral.
Definitely.
Okay? And Malcolm, good but immoral.
Right.
All right.
Because
by any means necessary, blah blah blah. Okay.
That was too intense for them.
Right, too directly challenging oppression.
Right.
All right. So now let's go to the movie. Okay?
Right. Okay.
The first person, the first character who proposes challenging white oppression,
yes,
is Njobu.
Njobu.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. The father of Njideka.
Yes.
Now I like to use his African name.
Yeah.
I don't like to use Killmonger.
Yes.
Okay?
I like that better
so just
too.
want you to understand.
Definitely.
I only will say
from
it just
now
to
on. Every time we refer to Eric,
it will be. We're talking about Njideka.
No problem.
How do you pronounce it? I maybe pronounce it. Njideka. Okay. Njideka. Okay. All right. And his father, Njobu.
Njobu. Right. Yes.
So here is Njobu. Okay. In Oakland.
Yeah.
Clearly at a time where police are occupying the black community.
Yes.
He's saying, yo, we need to do something about it. This is a Pan-Africanist statement.
Yes.
This is, we're African. No, they're not from Wakanda.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
But they're our people
that
we need to help.
Yeah.
Okay? And specifically, he's not talking
he
about
has
all
the monologue. He has the monologue
right. And
about
he's not
this.
talking about all oppressed people in the world,
No.
although it may apply. He's talking about specifically African Americans.
Yes.
Okay. So, why is he portrayed criminal? That's a choice of the writer.
I don't think he's portrayed
Yes, he is.
criminal.
Here's how he's portrayed criminal.
Go ahead.
All right.
All
You
right.
associate him with Claus.
Yes, you did
Okay?
associate
so
with Claus.
if he's colluding with Claus,
Yes.
okay, then he's guilty by association
He is.
with this racist South African, okay, who blew up and killed many people, okay,
Right.
and stole the vibranium,
Definitely.
and doing all kinds of wicked, crazy things with it.
Yes,
All right?
yes.
Now think about this.
Yeah.
If you're the writer,
Yeah.
you have an option.
Uh-huh.
You could have written him
Right.
in Jobu
Uh-huh.
being in cahoots with Nakia,
Okay.
who also says we need to extend it out.
Definitely.
And you see her extending it out to other Africans.
Yes.
Okay, all
Yes.
right. So she could have been the inside person
Right.
who represents this ideology,
Right.
who is slipping vibranium to him.
Right.
Nobody's get killed in Wakanda.
Yeah, in
okay?
that case-
and you're not associated with some crazy deranged white boy.
Right. You would have just had the betrayal of
The law
moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So it's still
outside
will
of-
be against the law.
Right.
He still
but
may have been
there would
killed.
have been
okay.
any
But
killing
he
of
would-
Wakandans by.
Right. And
yes.
so he's guilty of that.
He
okay?
is.
So
He
he's
is
criminal.
by association.
Okay, exactly.
Indeed.
And more than that, he's associated with this racist dude. Okay, blah blah blah. All right.
Yeah, with Claus,
so
yeah.
I'm sorry. He's a criminal.
Okay,
Okay.
right.
So
Yes.
again, morality in service of oppression. A racist script
Right.
says if the character is challenging oppression,
Then
he has to be portrayed negatively
as a villain,
All right.
as the bad guy.
All right, let's continue. With
right.
the same, now there are 4 scripts, but we're only going to talk about one.
Right, go
All
ahead. Let's
All
go.
So let's see the next time when morality and against oppression raises its head. Oh, incidentally, it is this script that allows you to have a clause in the movie.
Right.
Without this script, okay, if you associate him with Nakia, okay, or inside
Then
group,
you don't
then
have-
you don't have
you
clause.
don't have clause.
Bam. So
Right.
there are 2 major white people in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay?
You got
All right?
Claus and
you
you
got
got,
Claus and you got the CIA dude. Okay?
Yes.
All right.
What's his name?
It ain't
I
worth
forgot
it.
his name.
It ain't worth me.
But go
calling
ahead.
that. All right. But now let's say how morality and service of oppression opens the door for the second white character to come.
Okay. Right.
Because again, you have to portray the person who wants to challenge oppression negatively. All right, and you have to portray the other folks. So here is Njideka, okay, is coming to rescue Claus,
Right.
firing up the place.
Right.
The white CIA agent takes the bullet.
Yes.
Okay. The moral thing to do, Nakia says, okay, is to take him back to Wakanda.
Right.
That's the right thing to do.
Yes.
Now, Okoye says that's
Okoye
his
says
job.
no.
That's his job.
Yeah.
In addition, we have centuries-old rule that we
Then
don't
we're not-
do this.
we don't do
okay?
this.
All right?
Correct.
We will kill even our own that violate this.
Yeah.
But we're not. But it's the right thing to do.
Right,
Okay?
right,
So
right,
here,
right.
morality is then allowing.
Yes.
Okay. The white guy to come in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Totally unnecessary. All right. All right. In order for the movie to go forward.
Right,
All right.
right.
I mean, you could have had a Suri having an apprentice. She was young.
Okay,
She'd
yeah,
be young,
definitely Shuri,
Okay, a
yes.
young black guy. Okay, and the final scene when she's fighting down and she calls back.
Yeah, yeah.
It would have been him.
It would have been him
he
to
said,
do it,
I'm
definitely.
a nerd. I'm a blurred. I don't know nothing about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Listen, I've already got the ship for you. So get
All
in.
you gotta do
I'll
is jump
guide
in
you.
and do it.
So
But, I mean,
imagine this young dude.
Yeah. But,
Become, okay, go ahead.
What I was gonna say is that part of the reason why they did that is that if they had gone your way, this movie would have felt so much more removed from the Marvel
Thank
universe.
you very much. Which is another issue.
Which is that what you?
Well, yes.
Go ahead.
See, here's
Okay,
the deal.
go ahead.
That is, the question has to be asked: Are we more affirmed
Yes.
by our being affirmed culturally, as we talked about earlier,
Right.
or are we more affirmed by this being a part of the Marvel universe?
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. All right. And people got to really answer that question because
Yeah.
many people.
Well, personally,
because-
I don't think this movie needed to be part of the Marvel universe. To be honest.
Well, whenever I
but
talk about this,
I
when I
totally
talk about
agree.
this piece of rewriting this,
Yes.
folks say you can't do that.
No. I mean, you definitely can
But
do
if you
this.
do that, it's going to be removed.
Right.
From the Marvel universe.
and that's fine because Marvel has done movies that are not part of their universe
Of
before.
course
so
they have.
they could possibly have done that. The thing is, they didn't want to
Of
because
course
I
they didn't want
think they
to.
were very.
But you see, I'm not addressing this.
Yes.
From what Marvel wants to do, what's good both for money and for white supremacy. Okay, now be real clear.
Right.
Disney owns Fox.
Definitely.
Fox not only contributes to Trump's campaign. Okay?
They definitely
Fox
do.
pushes the all far right agenda. They keep them whatever.
Ever since
so just all you gotta do is ask the question.
They've been doing it.
So you're talking about the same company.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Marvel itself contributed to Trump campaign.
Oh, really? I
Yes.
wasn't sure, but okay.
So you got to ask yourself the question.
Right.
All right. Why does your enemy give you a story, all right, that shows you powerful, okay,
right,
without measure,
right,
that is designed to instill that in black people, when on the other hand, it supports us being shot in the street?
Yes.
Okay.
So and this
What's your
is
answer to that?
This is one of the things that I thought was the most fascinating thing about the U.S. It seems like there's this thing, I forgot what culture it's from, but it's like the snake eating his own tail.
Okay.
Yeah. To me, that's what I see of the U.S. That's how I see capitalism being.
Okay.
Because capitalism has seeped in every single part of the system in the U.S. to the point where you can't do anything without it having to do with a direct link to making an exorbitant amount of money.
Sure.
And that is, in the long run, poisoning the country itself and poisoning the mind of the people.
Absolutely.
So it's like
so
the
how
greed.
do you connect that to this?
So here's how I connect that to this. To morally, there's a thing about where you make your money, that you should be able to make your money in a way that's morally sound for you to sleep at night.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
But capitalism is like, no. You don't really have to worry about your conscience. You just have to worry about the money. It emphasizes the money over consciousness.
Absolutely.
So that you can be the type of person that makes money on supporting the killing of black folks, and also like promoting positive image or whatever of black folks. As long as it makes you money, it benefits you to keep the cycle running.
I see. So you think that, and I agree with you, definitely that, absolutely. So you think that this movie and its lifting up of black people worldwide would be the thing that would be, because it makes money, they would do this anyway, even though it would empower people, black people.
Yes.
Actually, I don't.
Okay.
Okay. Parliament Funkadelic, and I'm old, so you
I'm here with you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Parliament Funkadelic is an old group in the 70s. And it had a line in one of their songs, mind your wants, because someone wants your mind. Now, Wekesa's interpretation is this. Beware when your enemy gives you what you want, what you deserve, what you've been struggling for, but for what you have not forced them to give. Okay? Because it will contain a poison pill.
Right.
Okay? At this point in our lives as a people, psychological oppression is the name of the game.
Yes.
Because of the overt physical brutality of years gone by, and reminders of that.
Yes.
The reason the reminders are so powerful is because they stimulate the old memory of the kind of abuse.
Yes.
Right? And it's much more efficient to control people psychologically than with chains.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the whole Willie Lynch theory, right?
Everything, yes. Everything about what we're doing, okay, what's going on, directed toward black people, is about maintaining those psychological chains.
Yes.
Right. So this line that I was talking about, that by the portrayal of those who would challenge oppression, are evil. Those who would go along with things that would benefit. Okay. So Nakia goes along with bringing, even though it breaks a rule, the white guy in. Okay. Which then really sends the message psychologically and on the screen that that the CIA will shoot you down. Okay.
Okay.
All right. It's a very, very powerful. It's a subliminal message. Okay, that folks don't miss. All right. Many folks don't miss.
Okay.
White folks sure don't miss, and it instills in us. But let's continue with morality and service of oppression, at least one more time.
Okay.
All right. So you got Njobu, who's a criminal.
Yes.
Okay. You have to do the right thing. You got to bring the white guy in.
Yes.
Okay. CIA.
Yes.
When you next have this philosophy of we're going to arm the oppressed.
Yes.
That's with Njideka.
Yes.
Okay. Who has to be both crazy and criminal.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, what do you say he has to be crazy? Because I did not feel like he was portrayed as crazy.
Oh, yes, he was portrayed as crazy. You're gonna grab the elder and choke her, right?
Right.
Are you kidding me? You're gonna burn all of the heart-shaped herb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yes, clearly. All right. He's
Yeah.
clearly crazy. All right. He's promoting against the oppressor, armed. At the same time, you're questioning if his friends are just like him. Then they really aren't just a moral position against oppression. They are like almost anarchy.
Yes.
Okay.
Almost anarchy. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's him. Okay. Now you have this element of we're going to arm him against the oppressed.
Yeah.
But not like his dad.
Yes.
Okay. His dad wasn't like wherever the war dogs are, we're going to send them the arms and go whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It was no. We're going to have African Americans who will fight these people who are oppressing them.
Yes.
All right. So you have that element continuing in Njideka.
Yeah.
Okay. At the same time, it's wrapped in someone who's extremely hurt.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And essentially because of that, out of balance. So that deranged piece. All right.
Yes.
So his dad is criminal. He's crazy.
Yes.
Okay. So whoever proposes the character that proposed the we're going to challenge oppression with power has to be, or in this movie, portrayed as criminal or crazy.
Okay.
Okay.
So here's my rebuttal to that. Watching this movie, and perhaps it's because I grew up in Africa, but what you're saying about Njadaka, I don't necessarily think the blame goes to Njadaka. Even though he is portrayed in this extreme way, I think what it really does is that it reflects on T'Challa and T'Chaka.
Well,
Because
I got that. I got where it comes from.
Yes,
but
as an African, I'm like, this is our fault. That's how I looked at it.
Of course.
I looked at that entire thing, and I felt very much what T'Challa said when he stood in front of his ancestors in the ancestral plane, and he said, "You are wrong." I agree. They were wrong to do what they done. Like everything that Njadaka is doing now could have been completely prevented.
Oh, absolutely.
Had T'Chaka just took the boy home.
Absolutely.
And
we're talking two different points. You're saying who's to blame
I agree.
for his character being that way.
You're saying the character
I'm saying
is portrayed
the portrayed that way, okay? And there are a number of places where they could have fixed it.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
He could have, when he's taking the hardship, this is Njadaka. Okay?
Yeah,
He's
Njadaka.
won the war, the battle.
Yes.
He's the king.
Yes.
He takes the heart-shaped herb.
Yes.
There, why does he go back to Oakland for his ancestors?
For his father. Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah.
if you're going into the ancestral realm,
Right,
where folks have worked it out,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
because that's what you do on the
Yes,
ancestral realm.
yes.
Why does T'Challa goes to this ancestral realm and he goes to Oakland, back to his same apartment?
That's home to him. Because they have that whole conversation about where is home with him and his father.
His daddy is in Jobu.
His daddy is in Jobu.
His daddy
but
is in Wakanda.
He has never seen Wakanda until he's just stepped in. So
listen,
to him, home is that apartment in Oakland where he learned everything.
But that is not the ancestral realm. The ancestral realm.
I agree. I agree that it's not the ancestral realm.
I'm sorry.
But I think.
But of
go
course,
ahead.
You sit. I'm telling you how it could have been resolved.
Okay, so go ahead.
I find the writers can make choices,
right?
But they're all choices. Suppose, instead of going to Oakland,
yes,
he went to the ancestral realm.
Yes,
out of the trees, comes his father, and T'Challa, or T'Chaka,
yes,
who worked it out,
yes,
and his father says, "Listen, Here's the part that I was doing that was right. Here's the part that I was doing, son, that was wrong.
Right.
Okay. T'Chaka.
Yes.
Here's the part that I was doing that was right. Here's the part that I was doing is wrong.
It was wrong.
Okay. Now you are in Wakanda now. Okay. And so their message to him becomes a healing message. Okay. So then when he awakens from this ancestral realm, all right, because you got the line early on, if you go in here and you ain't right, you don't come back. You understand? If you look at the first scene, when he's talking about you go under the sand.
Yeah.
If you go into the ancestral realm,
Yeah.
and you ain't right, you don't come back.
Right.
All right. So, which is why in the first scene with T'Challa and T'Chaka, he's giving the advice. Yes, son, I know you may not be strong. It's hard to be a good man and a king. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Where is any of that?
Yeah.
Okay, in Jobu, is Africa. Where is any of that?
Njobu. So what do you think about the conversation that Njobu then had with his son?
And Jobu didn't do the work correcting. The writer didn't write in Jobu. You write it so that you have them having worked it out. So it's like we ain't fighting. We're in the ancestral realm. That's what we did here. It was the best we could do.
Right.
Right. And so they show a united front.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
As it would normally be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you want to have it in Oakland, you still have both of them. But you wouldn't have it. But you wouldn't have it. You wouldn't have it in that place. But wait a minute.
So
all
go
I'm
ahead.
saying is this.
Go ahead.
All I'm saying is that here is an opportunity to have in Jedeka healed of the wounds that would have him be out of balance.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Right.
Whether you agree with
No. I hear that. There was
that opportunity.
Yeah.
There's another opportunity.
Okay.
So when he's stabbed by T'Challa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he goes to that place and say, where he's now this young boy talking about, imagine a young boy from Oakland.
Yeah.
Okay. At that point, he's not fighting. At that point, he's reflecting back. Okay. Perfect time. Okay. To have when he goes up there for the writer to write that he is taken in. All right. And just like you healed the white boy who was sure of death. Okay. You heal. Use the vibranium and the technology to heal him.
And heal him.
And they began the process. You didn't have to write that I'm going to be locked up. There was nothing inherent in how the story would be that he would be forever locked up. There would be, wait a minute, we understand what you did. It was in excess, but because of what you said, because of what T'Chaka didn't bring the boy home and stuff like that, then no, we
because
cannot.
They have a part
because we can't lock you up. Exactly, because we have a part in that. All right. And as long as you are moving in this direction, all right? So boom. You got T'Challa, and you got it.
A friend of mine, he argues that N'Jadaka is not dead.
He's not. He's gonna end the movie. He'll come back.
He argues that N'Jadaka is not dead.
I understand, but we're only talking about this movie.
Yeah, we can get on that later.
Well,
but here's what I want to say.
But all I want you to get, is you had many opportunities, all right, so that you don't portray. Even with his hurt, which was kind of bogus, another part. But but even with his hurt, you had an opportunity to portray healing. So now you have African Americans in Jedaka, and you have T'Challa, powerful men coming to terms with their errors, and being healed.
And
that's Pan Africanist.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And coming together against a common oppressor.
Right. Well, this is what happened in the movie, right? Now, let's talk about, I want to talk about some of the things that I've seen people react to, right?
Sure.
Unfortunately, that last line that, I won't say unfortunately.
Yes, it was just shouldn't have been said.
Some people may disagree. I'll just say, it seems that last line that N'Jadaka said seems to resonate with African Americans so much.
Sure.
And to me, the line that resonated with me was the line that T'Challa said while they were fighting, where he says, "You have become like the people you hate so much."
And that is white supremacy.
Yeah.
No, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you challenge oppression.
Yeah. Oh, you can cuss here. You don't have to.
If you challenge oppression.
Yeah.
You will become like your enemy.
Okay.
See, that's a major.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Sure.
Because in the same way, I've always there's this thing that's been going through my head all this time,
Sure.
right? About Africa, right?
Sure.
Like about why colonialism happened. I know it's
Well, you know why colonialism happened.
I know, but in terms of no, why slavery even happened, in terms of like a philosophical way, like why did this happen? Why is it that the greed that the kingdoms fighting in Europe, and the greed and them needing, like, coming down to try to get the gold from the Empire of Mali and all that, like, why did all of this happen, and why is it that we ended up suffering from their greed? Do you see what I'm saying?
Sure. So that's the question. What's your answer?
I don't have one. It's a very existential question to me, and I've been thinking about that a lot, right?
Okay.
And I've been thinking, so what if if you had the opportunity to do what they did?
No. The answer is no. Because Africans did have the opportunity to do what they did.
But we did not, right? We don't do that. We do not do that.
So no, we didn't. So if you were asking, is it human? This is Marimba Ani has a book called Urugu.
Okay.
There's one chapter called Universalism, the Syntax of Oppression. Mm-hmm. And part of Eurocentric education and miseducation mm-hmm. is to take what is a European cultural ideal or behavior mm-hmm. and translate it to be something that's representative of humankind. Mm. So they'll say it's a dog-eat-dog world. Mm. Well, actually, that's not true. Every culture doesn't operate on that. I totally agree with that. In the same way, mm-hmm. so they'll project it. So what I hear you saying mm-hmm. is, well, is it human nature? Okay, for if you have power, mm-hmm. for you to abuse it like that.
Yes.
No.
It's not. I totally agree with that. I don't think so. Because my upbringing did not teach me that.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So I find it weird when I see people do that, because I'm like, why would you not want to help the people around you?
Well, it's like you said, it's the snake eating its own self. Because if I'm going to raise my children, but I create a toxic environment, then my children will be toxic. It's death, okay?
Yes.
And Africans knew this. So Hopi Indians knew this, okay?
Okay, all right? and I totally agree with that. So let's bring it to this.
Bring it back to the movie. And to that last scene that you
to this last scene, as much as I loved what Njadaka stood for and what he wanted to do, I kind of agreed that, well, I wouldn't have done that.
Why did the writer write it? See,
I wouldn't have done that.
One thing I want you to do, and I want your listeners to do.
Go ahead.
We get into the movie and get into the characters.
Right.
I'm into the people who wrote the characters. Come on.
Right.
Come
okay,
on.
let's get into the people that wrote the characters. Let's do it.
See, every line in that movie, every action, every line, every scene is planned, it's orchestrated, and all has a purpose.
Yes.
Okay? All right. Yes. Now, some of what Coogler did was to fit not only into the Marvel universe, mm-hmm. but also to fit, this part I think was out of his consciousness, mm-hmm. into a white supremacist message. Mm. Okay, I don't think he had that. I don't mm-hmm. think any of that. I think everybody wanted to get what they got in, which mm-hmm. was powerful and wonderful. Mm-hmm. They weren't willing to oppose, mm-hmm. though, partly because we've come to accept it as this is what you have to have, mm-hmm. or this is what you do. Mm-hmm. All right. So they what the message of, one, you ain't gonna do it, I'm gonna put me in jail, mm-hmm. right? And like my ancestors, I'd rather die, okay,
right.
Than whatever. It's a power. Yes, it resonates with us because many of us had to take that stand, okay, and did take that stand, right. It just doesn't fit with the context there, all right, all right. It's a way.
I agree.
It's a way because see, there are parts that resonated clearly with Africans. Clearly with Africans in the diaspora, okay? In terms of its primary. Secondarily, it all fits with all Africans. But in a that message would go primary for folks who had to make those choices, okay, coming across the Middle Passage, where you're going to Brazil.
And that's why it resonated with them.
That's why it resonated with them, okay? Yes. It was out of context of this, but what it does then, psychologically, it makes T'Challa be white.
Yes, because it makes him the person that would imprison Njadaka.
There you go.
And I agree with you.
The very next scene is he's at the UN. Being white.
Hold on. Let's not even get there. Let's first talk about back in that scene. Because in my opinion, I agree that it's out of context in that scene because the context is not too good.
It's out of
context. Because you would assume that the prison system, that there is a prison system in Wakanda in the first place. What if they deal with punishment differently than we deal with punishment here? Do you see what I'm saying? And you would assume that this would be the punishment for what you have done. And it's like, I agree. It puts too many.
Then you have to ask the question: why is it in? Okay, so it's in both to appeal, and what's the impact of it? Okay, see, it would not. First of all,
I think, like you said, subconscious. It was out of the conscience of the person who wrote it.
Exactly, but also check this out. People talk about the black writers.
Yes.
But the black writers are both building on and making sure that it stays within the context of what the white writers and white company wants. Be real, okay? Or else you don't have the several scenes, because you have to then have him where he's the arch enemy, okay? And the way they know how to do arch enemy, okay, is not the way Africans can do it, okay? All right, that is, they don't know you could be captured in a war with another group of Africans, become a part of the family, so that if you're 13 and the other children in the family are 8, even though you're the captive, they can't eat until you touch your food. Okay, they don't know that. All what I'm saying is,
because the way they see it is the way they have it.
Exactly,
they're not even aware of the culture.
So there is white supremacy there.
Yes.
Okay?
Well,
but here's the deal.
Go ahead.
We're taking it in. Here's the deal. Okay? If I want to have it where you take something in, I make it sweet. Okay. If I really wanted to poison somebody, the last thing I would do is make it bitter.
Right.
If they're tasting it, okay, because they're immediately going to reject it.
Yes.
I'd make it sweet. All right. So there is nothing to me more poisonous. Than two of the main pieces. One, I've said before, and I'll say again: if you think about challenging your oppressor, you are a criminal. Or you're crazy. Now that kicks in my own moral compass. They'll say, no, I can't do that.
Yes.
Okay, I can't challenge. And there are a lot of Africans on the continent and here who think like to have to challenge oppression, is immoral.
Yeah.
To have to blow things up, to maybe have to kill them, to have to act, do to them what? No, that's immoral. We can't do that. All right. So that's designed to activate my own mechanism that would stop me.
Okay.
If you persist and get past that, okay, then the CIA will shoot you down, or your own people will kill you.
Okay. So those are the things that have been set up that you see in this movie.
There's no question. It's straight up in the movie.
I see it.
The other one
is, I see each one.
You can't trust. While on the one hand, there's a wonderful Pan-Africanist vision.
Yes.
And a utopic vision, Wakanda.
Yeah.
Africans in the diaspora and Africans on the continent cannot trust each other.
Well, that message, I don't think rings as clearly. Even if it was there, I definitely don't think it rings as clearly because of the response that I've seen from Africans and African Americans.
You mean response to the movie?
Right.
Oh no, it wouldn't affect the response to the movie.
Right.
You see, okay. Africans would love it, and African Americans would love it.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, I've seen the parts in this movie that I've seen resonate most with Africans is them. Africans saw themselves as the Wakandans turning their backs on everything that happened to the world. Okay. A lot of Africans that I know, that's how they saw it. And they felt bad. Okay. I felt bad. Sure. We felt bad. Like, we shouldn't have done this. Sure. We should have outreach centers in every hood of favelas everywhere in the world. Sure. We should have some sort of easy passport program where you don't even need a visa to just show up to an African country, and we just sponsor you. You just show up and you can go. These are things that we should have done that we have not done. This is, I'm talking personally now. These are things that I see, and I'm like, we should have done this. I don't know why this is not something we're doing. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. And I talked to my father. He watched it in Ivory Coast, and he. First, he didn't go into details like we are right now, but he said that the philosophy behind this movie, it was like the people who really thought of this movie put a lot of thought into it. Yeah. and he was very surprised.
So what was he referring to? Because of course every movie, a whole lot of thoughts.
Yeah, but he was talking about the representation of Africa.
Yes, that's that high cultural part that we talked about at the beginning.
Like,
he loved that.
Yeah,
okay.
he's like he says he spoke to me again today, and he said he's afraid that this movie is not enough. As much as it's just like as much as this is good, he's like, we should not have one of these movies a year. We should have hundreds of movies representing us this way a year for it to perhaps even have a dent in the culture and make it move forward. You know,
just don't count on Marvel doing it.
Yeah, I'm not. That's not there.
Okay.
But I agree with them in that part. And what I think is happening. Well, I guess now we're talking about the effects of the movies.
Well, but you're also the part that you left hanging for me is and I want to hear that is. I said two things. One was you can't challenge oppression.
Yes.
The other was it exacerbates the split between Africans and continental Africans, Africans in the diaspora. Okay?
Yes.
And you said you don't think so.
No.
Your evidence was two things I heard.
Yes.
One is both Africans enjoyed the movie and African Americans enjoyed the movie. Africans in the diaspora enjoyed the movie. Well, I got that, but that doesn't.
No. Not only did they enjoy the movie, I see more reach for African culture than I've seen with my generation before. People that weren't necessarily into it before did not necessarily like ask me about where I'm from or about African culture are now reaching out more. They want to listen more to West African music. They want
so
more of it.
Connection.
And that's what I think. I think that this part is creating a cultural connection.
I hear you.
Now the political,
I'll accept that. That is more people more Africans in the diaspora. And maybe more Africans continental.
Definitely.
I don't know if that asks for a connection, but it may. Okay, so folks may be open to sharing and learning more and getting to know
about each other.
Learning about each other. Okay.
Yes.
I hear that. I see
now,
how that can have that impact.
Politically, I tend to not even engage myself politically.
Well, here's for me.
Go ahead.
The way you send messages is through entertainment.
Oh, let me clarify that. I tend to not engage myself politically when it comes to African politics.
No, I'm not talking about the particular politics, as in who's the prime minister of whatever country is. I'm like that. I'm talking about we are in
the message they send out.
For example, let me show you for me how the movie could have sent another political message.
Sure.
Because the political message that it sent was if you try that, you're going to get killed. Okay? And I'm talking about political and big politics, not who's prime minister, but talking about challenging oppression. It could have done it differently.
Yes.
Even if Njadeka would have died and they didn't bring him back with him.
Yes.
Here's what T'Challa could have said.
Yes.
Particularly coming after going to the ancestral realm and saying y'all was wrong. He could have said, you know what? How he was going about it, even how his father went about it, was not right. Mm-hmm. But what they were saying was right.
Was right.
And what you're saying, Nakia, is right.
Yes.
And so, since we have spies all over, and since he's right that in order to have world peace, we're going to have the oppressed come to the table as power brokers and not beggars. Okay? So we're going to have the vibranium go out through the auspices of our own spies, so it's controlled. We're not sending planes to send it to criminals. We're sending it to folks who will arm the people in the right way, based on challenging oppression. Because clearly they're smart enough to observe and know that clause is not some aberration, that oppression is there. So then you could have had, all you had is that message, all right, saying we are going to help and arm. Okay, we're not just going to do an NGO program on technology. Okay, so you get to learn about the nice technology. No, we're going to. This is a political message. We're going to arm so that when we go to the UN, they come. Okay, to as brokers for peace. not as beggars.
Yeah,
Okay?
there's
And he did not. The movie did not do that, and did not do it intentionally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. See, that's the political message that could have been sent.
Yeah.
With just that dialogue.
Would have
okay?
changed
and
a
then
few things for you.
And then have. Not just for me. I'm talking about for the people watching.
For the people,
it.
yeah,
Because
okay.
there's nothing in that movie that changes that political message.
Yes.
I dare you anything. Show me anything
Right.
that gives any other political message other than you better not challenge your oppressor.
Or you get killed.
Or you
Yeah.
get killed by them or by your own folks.
Yes,
Okay?
yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So this having Nakia get in the plane.
Yes.
Okay. Going where she's going to be one of those spies.
Right.
Okay. And she's going to, she'd be the perfect person for it. Okay.
Right.
Or she's setting up that routine. Okay. So we're going to get those messages out. We'll get the technology going out.
Yeah.
Right. Not the technology is going to white boy Bucky.
Yeah.
Okay. That is after the second. Okay? They don't get it
Bucky!
first. They don't
Yeah.
get it first.
Yeah.
The UN doesn't get it first.
Right, they
okay?
don't get it.
Black people get it
let's
first. African
be
people get it first. That's
let's
the political message.
But yeah, I agree. And in their defense, he didn't show up in freaking Beverly Hills. He showed up in Oakland. He with folks from the hood. Kids is looking at the spaceship. He definitely went straight to the black folks.
Before he went to the straight for the black folks for education and cultural exchange.
And that's fine.
But, no.
In my opinion, that's fine.
Of course it's
But-
fine. But listen, the political message,
Right.
the political message
Yes.
is all I'm talking about. And
Right.
right now, where we are as African people in the diaspora and Africa.
Yes.
Is a level of old-fashioned oppression that's resurging at tremendous levels. Okay, that
Right.
was going to require
Right.
okay us using power
Right.
against them. Okay,
Yes.
we're talking about 50s and 60s. We're talking about Nkrumah. We're talking about that kind of time.
Yes.
That's where we are now. Most people don't want to believe it because they got a Black Panther and they say, "See, we've made this progress." Okay,
No.
But when you look politically, when you
I-
look at oppression of Black people,
Yeah.
when you can come out as an African American, when my child can step out of the back door of my house with a cell phone and get shot 20 times.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's
Yeah.
regular.
Yeah.
Since January, 212 Africans have been shot by the police. Since January, we ain't even out of March.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can't just be into entertainment, okay? Even if it's culturally affirming,
Yeah.
it sends a political message
It
that
definitely
neuters what we got to do. Okay?
I
And so it's
totally
a both
agree in
and.
terms of the overall political message is definitely true there in terms of Njadaka being the one that stands up, more strongly against the oppression and wants to. Basically, he's the revolutionary.
His
He
daddy,
is-
not
he's-
just him. You start with his dad.
Yeah, you start with his dad.
and
He's a
continue with him.
revolutionary too, and he's the one that ends up getting killed.
Not just
I
getting
agree.
killed.
but
It's
not just getting killed, but
He's
killed by his own.
No, listen, this is
Yes.
important. Okay? Because you're talking about the work that I do.
Yes.
Okay. One of my best teachers was Asa Hilliard. He was
Okay.
an educational psychologist. Okay. He studied the psychology of education.
Okay.
Because education, the one that you got, the one that I got,
Yeah.
based on oppression, right, is how you control folks with the least amount of resources. Okay.
Yes.
To get the least amount of resistance.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So to me, as I've looked and studied this, that is, you lure people with honey. Okay. And in this case, since we're not trying to exclude and say Africa is nothing and Africa is jungle, no, Africa is bomb. Africa is sweet. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, we've been needing this message. We've been wanting this message.
I
We've
hear
been
you.
deserving this
I hear
message,
you.
which means it'll create blind spots.
Yes.
So I discount the political message.
Okay.
Right. At a time when we most need a political,
political
message that
I hear
says
you.
unity
Yes.
and that says you challenge it.
Yes.
Okay.
Unity
All right?
and challenge.
Unity and
I
challenge
agree.
oppression.
And
that was compromised. And to me, that's why I say, here's back to my both and.
Yes.
The movie was really, really, really good.
Yes.
For all the reasons we said at the beginning. Okay?
Yes.
And I don't take that back. I don't compromise it. There's no but in between it.
No.
And it was really, really, really bad.
Okay.
Okay.
I
And I can hold both of those.
I agree on the overall political message because the more I think about it, that is definitely the message, the storyline. So you have two lines. You have Njobu and Njadaka, and you have T'Chaka and T'Challa. And so what I've heard a few people say is that the real two philosophies are Njadaka and Njobu's philosophy and Nakia's philosophy. Because Nakia is the one that proposes. I heard people say a more. I don't want to use the word feminist. That's like a lot of people mean in weird, but like a more maternal sort of solution.
It's a Pan-Africanist. It's wait a minute. I'm here, situated near what's the African name for Victoria Falls? Or what?
Uganda.
I mean, I'm right here. Okay.
Yeah.
So my neighbors, right, are African who don't know. They don't know Wakanda. Wakanda is hidden away. But I ain't hidden from them.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I know the suffering at the hands of Leopold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know the cutting off of arms
Yes.
over the years,
Yes.
and I don't identify with them first. Give me a break.
Yes.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the healing. That's and you unify us and say, wait a minute. These folks are still benefiting in Belgium from this right here. The reason they're oppressing in Belgium is they still. Oh no, we have to go because we are moral and we are powerful.
Yeah.
So you don't go to the powerful or the powerful to support their continued oppression.
Definitely.
You go to the ones who aren't. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that was Nakia's philosophy.
I understand, and they warp it to then have her be the messenger against Okoye to bring in the white guy from CIA. Okay.
Yeah, because
All
he saved her life.
Right. And so what? It's his job. It's what she said. Right? But you see,
yes.
but here's what's important.
Because Okoye did not care.
The reason, no, she did care. She cared more about Wakanda.
She did care more about
and
Wakanda.
this is important about how oppression and morality.
Yeah,
morality.
And that happens again and again with Okoye. She cares more about Wakanda.
She cares more about Wakanda. In this case, she capitulates. And now the reason morality and service of oppression is a powerful injected racist script, okay, is because it's self-perpetuating. All right, that is, once you instill that in me, then I'm have this aversion against challenging oppression. In fact, you go to the other line that if I choose to challenge oppression, I'll become just like them, which is not true. Okay.
Yeah.
In Haiti, and I may have to do what they do.
Right.
All right. I may have to arm myself,
like
but I will not become them. That's why I cannot stand that line. Because that line says, if you challenge oppression, then you will become like your oppressors.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, it wasn't just the oppression that had it. Okay. If you follow the actual storyline, it was being abandoned. Okay.
Yeah. And that's,
right.
that's the part.
But why are you going to say, you see what I'm saying? But when you put that on the oppressors, that's, see, the politics is running all through it. All right. It's running all through. And then you have,
it's like you said,
the Mandela line. We got to get to the Mandela line.
Which what was
this is at the UN. Okay?
Yes.
This is at the UN.
Yeah.
We have much more in common than we have.
Yes.
Oppression is not based on differences. Okay, let's be real clear about it.
Okay.
People, there's no problem with differences.
It uses differences as an excuse.
Right. It is. That I like yellow and you like blue and you like when you speak this language, that's not the problem. Oppression based on the difference is the problem. As you said, if I use your difference as the excuse for my oppression, then the problem ain't difference. The problem is oppression. So you're gonna stand up and say we have much more in common, as if us being different than white folks is the reason. You understand that? I want you to understand that.
No, I understand that.
I don't let that go.
I understand
because of
that.
where we are.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that
it was the excuse. I understand that.
But then why are you going to respond to the excuse?
Well,
I mean, not excuse. Why are you going to respond to this? So when you're powerful and you know this, because you're Wakanda, you clear about oppression, or are you? Are you smart about everything else, but you're ignorant about white, black oppression? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And I, if we get down to this level of the film, then yes, in a few ways, it doesn't make sense for Wakanda to be that far advanced technologically and everything and be aware of everything that's going on in the world and not have studied oppression for that long and understand all the details of it. I agree.
Then the question becomes, why? Why is it not written in? Okay?
Yeah.
And that is...
I simply think the people were unaware.
No. Listen, let's be real clear.
You think it was purposeful.
Let's be real clear, okay? Kugler couldn't write anything and everything he wanted to write. Okay? All right? You know, it has to fit within these parameters.
Right.
Okay? And even if he did, our injected oppression has me bleach my skin voluntarily.
White folks ain't around.
Yes.
All right, but they've already been injected in my psyche. So
Yes.
I say my dark skin, my gap in my teeth,
Yeah.
my nose,
Yeah.
is too big. So I got
It's
to
too
chop
much.
it
You
off.
gotta change everything.
I got to change everything. Okay.
Yes.
So do we act like Kugler somehow could be immune to that just because he
No.
did other things that are great?
No.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at him.
Yeah.
I just ain't gonna call it, vanilla when it's chocolate. I'm not
Yes.
going to pretend.
Yes.
All right. I can
Yes.
say, listen, brother, you did a good job with
Yeah.
that. Brother, you missed this.
Yeah.
He might say, listen, I actually didn't have no choice in that. This is what was given to me, and I had to fit
So
these
I had
parts
to
in.
fit
and we
it.
can
Yeah.
say, cool, then
Yeah.
that's white supremacy. And it's
Yeah.
fine that you capitulated to it to get these parts in. But that,
Yeah,
don't
to
mean,
get
that
that
doesn't
part
mean
in.
that I have to buy it.
Right.
That doesn't mean I have to ignore it.
Right.
Okay. In
right.
fact, if you were smart,
Yes.
you would hint at, here are parts I had no control over.
Yes. Yes.
See, if you as a father to be, let's say you have to capitulate and you have to keep a job that you don't want to keep,
Yes.
even though there's racism on the job.
Yes.
You take your son one day or your daughter to work with you, and you encounter some, and you don't respond the way you would like to respond because y'all just got a darn new house, you got a mortgage,
Yeah.
and whatever. It's important that when you choose to retreat that day, that on the way home,
You let 'em
explain
know.
to your child, let me just tell you, this is not what Daddy believes. This is what I had to do today for whatever.
Yes.
If you don't let him know,
Yes.
he will begin to believe that that is the way to do it.
That is the way to do it. I agree.
And Kugler doesn't do that.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Then we come to accept
Well-
that is the way to do it for the money and the fame that you were talking about that goes along with capitalism.
Yes.
My thing is, now, you see, all actors don't do it.
Yes.
Cecily Tyson has said, no.
Yeah.
Certain roles I won't touch.
Yeah.
Okay? Certain things I won't do.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and I understand he's doing it, and it's cool. All right? All right? Now, at a personal level, it hints at some of his lack of political awareness, even though he's politically aware in a number of ways. So he's very smart and very talented and whatever. Continuing the Rocky story was also injected of pressure. So I don't know who put him up to it, or was this his idea, or how it came about.
I believe it was their idea. They were working on the script, and then right after they did Fruitville.
So let me tell you Rocky.
Go ahead.
Okay, let me tell you the racism.
Okay, go ahead.
When Muhammad Ali came on the scene, others before him, but then clearly when he came, it just made boxing black and was going to make boxing black for 50 years.
Yes.
Heavyweight champion boxing, okay?
Yeah.
Jerry Quarry, any little white boys, they threw at him. And if you got it, so that means if you're going to pay somebody to beat Muhammad Ali, there's another brother who then white folks couldn't beat him.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So now, the heavyweight championship in the world, in this country, in America, is a symbol for working class and middle class black white people's badge of superiority. Okay, the heavyweight champion of the world,
Right.
Jack Dempsey,
Yeah.
and blah 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 blah.
Right.
So
And then you got this super
so
pro-black
now
guy.
you got this who's smart, fast, all of that. Okay,
Witty,
Okay,
just got everything.
politically aware and
Crazy.
executing it.
Yes,
okay?
yeah.
All of that, and
Yeah.
you can't whip his butt.
You
okay?
can't.
You can't whip his butt because he said, "I'll." So their symbol is gone.
Right.
So here's what happens: they make up a fantasized champion.
Yes.
Okay, to
Rocky
salve their
Balboa.
ego.
Right.
Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, Rocky 5.
Yes.
Okay. So much starting in 76. Okay. And all the Rocky Balboas all the way to 96.
Yeah.
Okay. Almost 93, 96, almost 20 years of maintaining this mythical white champion
Right.
to support white supremacy.
Right.
That becomes a new symbol because the reality is not
It's not that.
So we have to have one that's not real
To divert
Okay,
attention. Yeah.
and right. And so they live vicariously through that. So much
Through
so,
Rocky Balboa.
so much so
Yes.
that taxpayers in Philadelphia
Yeah.
erect a statue
To the not
to the
real
fictional character,
but the fictional character.
and
yes.
the real champion, Joe Frazier, lives in Philadelphia. This is no made up.
That's
This is
not.
real.
Yeah, you're right. The
Okay.
statue is there in Philly.
All right.
Yeah.
So for me,
Right.
a conscious black person doesn't continue the Rocky Balboa story
Right.
in no shape, form, or fashion.
Well, it was actually the Creed story. Balboa did help him. Did
Thank you.
train him.
You listen to me.
Yes.
you don't carry it on if he's aware. If you knew that this is a symbol of white oppression,
Yes.
I mean of white oppression, white superiority,
Yes.
okay, and this is what they use to salve themselves from acknowledging black
Yeah.
reality,
Yeah.
power, then I don't continue that.
Yeah, but
okay?
that fantasy is gone now because even the fantasy is now a black guy.
No, I understand.
Go
A
ahead.
black guy with who helped him, who was the person.
The person that trained them.
Thank you very much. So you're continuing that. You're continuing that.
What I'm saying is,
I know your standards become really low. Okay, I'll be honest with you, and this is part of it.
But what I'm saying is,
there are too many options.
Okay, go ahead.
That you have. It's the same with Django. Where's the same? Django the movie.
Oh, Django Unchained. Yeah.
Here's who comes up with whose culture, out of whose culture does the
whole Broomhilda thing come? It's from the German culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who comes up with the idea
to go? It's
him.
His,
who then gives his life?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the white guy. Yeah.
So you got a great white hope.
Yeah.
Just like you got a great white hope in the CIA.
He said great white hope. So let's talk about from here on. You know,
good.
Because one thing because a few people spoke to me and they like a friend of mine was saying he doesn't understand why folks are even hype about Black Panther. He's like, it's fictional. Why are you so hype over it?
Yeah, because of the psychological need. Based on oppression and the need to be affirmed, like everybody does.
Yes.
That's why we hyped about it.
And so I explained that to him, but then I also said, I think that a lot of people that they're looking at this movie negatively or too negatively are not seeing the long run bigger effects of this picture. Because what I think is going to happen is that one of the effects of this is that it's going to empower more black creators to try to create more accurate representations of themselves. Now, what you have brought to my attention is that in creating this, because the first narratives that I heard when I was a kid were like African folklore.
Sure.
You know, that my grandma would tell me or like my dad would tell me and stuff like that. The second was like TV or whatever I would capture through there. But one of the ones that really got me was mangas, the Japanese mangas, and I would read the mangas and I would watch the Chinese kung fu movies, and I was explaining to my friend yesterday that I think more and more I'm realizing that I liked much more the Chinese kung fu movies than I liked American action movies because American action movies was filled with guns, you know, and it's like you punch a guy one time, he passes out, and it's over. And I was like, this is not an accurate description of life. And the hero's journey in an American action movie is like, I don't know.
It's predictable. It's 1, 2, 3. It's not full of philosophy.
Right.
It's not full of real deep life lessons. It's very superficial.
Thank you.
Okay?
And so I was telling him
apolitical.
I was telling him in a Chinese kung fu movie, the hero has to go through a lot to beat the bad guy.
Exactly.
Like first he meets the bad guy, he gets his butt whooped, and then he has to like go back and try to find some secret technique. Not only find a secret technique, but train really hard at that secret technique. Meet the bad guy and still have a difficult fight to barely win within an inch of his life. You know, and most of the time they don't even kill the bad guy. He just wins in the battle.
Okay, so now make this connection.
Do you see what I'm saying?
But how is this connected to what you see in the future?
So what I'm wondering in the future is, as I'm embarking in trying to really bring a whole new set of like stories, you know, to Africa, and as this movie is going to inspire a lot of black kids, black creators to put their own material out there. The things that Cougar missed, I would like for them not to miss. Do you see what I'm saying? So, what can we do
I like
from here on?
I like the whole. Is actually a conversation I had a couple of days ago. It was the first time I heard that this may stimulate a number of directors and storytellers to embrace their Africanness more than they have, whether they're on the continent or whether they're here.
Yes.
I think they can do that. And I think it's fantastic. I definitely would want folks to become aware of not only what's missing, what's in there.
What's
to
in
make
there.
sure that is, it's not continuous.
Yeah, what I
okay?
meant by what
Okay.
miss is
No,
like.
I know what you mean. I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what you
okay.
mean. I'm just saying, so I definitely think it's important, and part of what I think is important to do is what we're just doing right now, to talk about what is absolutely great.
Yeah.
Okay. And to talk about what is absolutely missed, as
Yes.
you say, okay?
Yes.
So that's put in. Now, to do that, there also will be scares and fears that come up. All right. One other thing we'll have to address in terms of those scares and fears, because anytime you create another political message, okay, that is the reason we don't do political messages all the time is because we're afraid to do political messages. All right. And so we need to account for that in the development of those directors and support of those directors.
Right.
That if they choose not to make it. Now, the other thing that's going to be important that we have to get over. When you first see the elevation of our culture in such a way, in a 200 million, with somebody who has a $200 million budget, then you may not appreciate it when somebody creates something with a $50 million budget or $5. Okay, very often I can't go. If I go to Africa, some people want to stay in a Hilton, okay, and not stay in the village, okay,
Right.
And with a family.
Yes.
Ooh, what? I mean, this is not okay. So one of the things we'll have to overcome and get our people to appreciate is here is the culture, and here's somebody who told a story. Here's somebody who created a play. Here's somebody who with a whatever. That is, that our culture does not have to be affirmed by Marvel in order for us to celebrate it.
Right.
Now that has to be built in to the support of these directors, because the first thing they'll get is that if it's not done on such a grand scale, if it ain't backed by white people, okay,
Right.
then come on, then we won't appreciate it.
Right.
Okay, so you have that movement that I think will happen, and I think it can be cut by the directors themselves if their movie is not picked up by Marvel or some other white institution to give a grand scale. Okay, I think it will be a disincentive for them. If they continue, they also have to deal with how do you get our people to appreciate it, even though it's not done on a grand scale or affirmed by white people.
Right.
And if we put those in the mix as opposed to hope. See, hope is not a strategy. I want you and your folks to hear me. Hope is essential, but hope is not a strategy.
It's not.
And what we have to do is have a strategy. And I got
Okay. All right. So that's a great point. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, let's just continue. I think it's a great thing. One of the things one thing I love to do, not now, but another time, is talk about outside of just a movie, talk about those, how we counter those injected racial scripts. I mentioned morality and service suppression.
Yes.
There's UBO, there's SHT, there's STD.
Yes.
Okay? So that as we consume stories, they become part of our critical filter.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And as we make stories, we make sure we don't make those same mistakes.
The same mistakes. That is the most important part. I really want is to make sure that as we go, we don't make the same mistakes, and we take our African lores, African culture, and just bring it to the forefront without the contamination of the colonizers. So on that's the end of the episode. I thank you so much for coming. I really wanted to do this episode. I'm glad we did it.
Me
so,
too. Absolutely.
I'm definitely going to come back so we can talk some more about
and I love
stuff.
what you're doing. I think it's fantastic. I hope everybody really understands the both and that the movie was powerful.
Yeah.
Okay. And it has some very real problems. And we build on the power and move forward.
Sounds good. All right. This was Attack of the Blurred. Come back next week for a new episode. Bye.